Bonjour, Kinamagene, Ireland, Indigenous, and welcome to this technology lesson. Today's lesson from the Visual Learning Quest 3, Quick Response. It may be ideal to have your browser open with another tab to kind of follow along with this video. If that means you have to exit out of the video and come back, please do so, as I feel that following along will be advantageous to you. This is under our visual learning section, and you can see the menu under 21 things for students. There are a lot of things, and we won't get to them all this year. As the year evolves, we may pick up the pace on them a little bit. We may make sure that we've gotten things that everyone has had a chance to be exposed to. But you all are welcome to look ahead to some of the ones further along and explore at your leisure. Of course, today we're doing the quick response. And the first thing we should always do is click on the Quest 3 student checklist. And there's a checklist for many of the quests. You click on it. That's going to bring this up. Notice it says request added access up here. Oops, let me grab the annotation tool. Where it says, there we go. This here, that means I can't edit without asking for permission. So I need to do something different here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to File, and I'm going to click on Make a Copy. So File, Make a Copy. And now what I usually recommend is I'll put my name at the very beginning and keep everything else the same. Could you say Mike Q3 Visual Learning Student Checklist? Sure, you could. So once I add that in there with your name, don't put Mike, because unless your name Mike, it'll just confuse me if you all come sending me emails with the name Mike. And then I click OK. Now I have a copy of my own. Notice it no longer says request access. So I can actually go ahead and close that tab that had the request edit access. I don't need it anymore. My next step will be to type my name. And the date is cool, not necessary. Teacher's name, cool, not necessary. But we're not yet ready to start doing this lesson. My next step should be share. And right now it's private only to me. I'm the only one who can see it and access it. So I'm going to click share. And this is where you're going to use my sagchipschool.net email to share it with me. And that's mireland@sagchipschool.net. And I'll pause that there for just a moment before I put it in. That way you can copy from it. If you have to pause the video to give yourself some time to type it in correctly, that is more than acceptable. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. So now my next step is to send. And it gives me editor. And that's some of your choices. Can I just view it? Can I comment on it and edit it? These will vary under your circumstances. If you're sending something to a person to just look at it and you don't want them to touch anything, you would select viewer. If you want them to be able to comment, like here's a good idea, or here's what you could do with a suggestion, kind of like if it was a peer editing session in a writing workshop, commenter is allowed. With editor, as a teacher, I can go ahead and make some changes for you, or ask a question and fix it without having you go back in and find it and all of that. You do want to be careful. You don't want to give editor to just anybody and for anything, as they could completely change your paper. So if this was a writing assignment on a Google Doc, don't give them editor. Otherwise, your masterpiece that was just about to be the most important document at the Library of Congress is now a a knock joke. So you gotta be careful on that. But for sending it to teachers, or at least for me, you can go with editor. Because I'm really not going to comment on their, I'm just going to talk to you in person. So once I have that there, my name's up there, it says editor, I can click send. Seconds from now, and there it is, I have a notification on my phone that I have shared this document with, well, myself. And I'll get those same notifications when you do it. So that's kind of how I tell who's doing the assignment. So you're going to see that here are all the steps, and we check them off as we go. Not a ton of them. And do you necessarily have to have them all completing in one sitting? No, you could do part of it and come back a little bit later. I know when I was learning about this program, I did that quite frequently. So now we're going to start with the introduction. And you can see it has a big QR scanner. Yes, it is a working link. I did check that out. And it says you have been selected by your teacher to find out what the most popular items sought by students your age. It could be a technology item, the latest clothes or shoe labels, toys, etc. In this quest, you're going to learn how to create a QR code, which is a special type of two-dimensional barcode. The reason they are so popular is that you can store a lot of information on a QR code, unlike a standard UPC barcode, which is usually just a bunch of numbers and letters. Typically, you use a smartphone or other mobile device to scan a QR code, and it will display the code and convert it into something useful, like a standard URL for a website. Once you have decided what is the most sought after item, you will create a QR code where you can locate this item. Share the QR code with your teacher. That's me. Your I can statements, I can create a QR code. I can scan a QR code to access information. Key vocabulary. QR code, quick response code, is a type of 2D barcode that is often used to provide access to information through a mobile device. UPC barcode, a universal product code, is a 12-digit barcode typically used in a retail store. And if you pick up something near you, it's the scan code right at the back and the bottom. See a lot of these at grocery stores. That's how they scan the price, because that code will match up with an item and a price. To scan a code to use a device, a cell phone, tablet, computer, to take a digital image of something that can be converted into text, URL, or other information. You'll also play the vocabulary game below to practice the key vocabulary. So now I've done a lot of things right there. I read the introduction, so we're good there. I have not yet watched the video. I'll let you do that part. This is the video here. Now I'm going to take the Quizlet key vocabulary quiz. Let's see how I do. So I'm going to click the plus so it shows up. Start the game. UPC, it's a universal product code. Scan a code to use it. QR code. Bam! 6.1. How much will you beat me by? Let's find out. So once you've completed that, you could actually go back up here and say I took it. Now I have 2 steps done. You'll come back here and you're going to want to watch this video. And these are usually short videos. The longest one I recall in recent memory was 8 minutes. This one's not even 3. Then you'll read this part here. And there's some websites that you can use to find information on QR stuff. And then completing, because once you have learned how to create a QR code and decide what the most popular item is for students your age, you'll create a QR code for the item and send it to your teacher. That's me. You can even send it via email if you just want to do a screenshot of it. That's fine. Once you have your website created, when you complete digital footprint in thing 5, you'll be able to create QR codes and post them on your website. So as you can see it, we're going to watch the video. There's the widgets. Now with a school device, some things may not be as easy to reach as others. But this can be kind of fun. By the way, I did scan this QR code, and it does ask you to, at the very beginning of this, before I sat down. And I have it under my Safari here. this actually sent me to the 5 top tech toys of 2013. And if you're curious, I don't know that I had heard of more than like 2 of them. We have Furbies and Legos and Tiglies, and yeah, some interesting stuff. And most of you are probably familiar with holding up your phone and taking a picture of these QR codes. You've probably done it in a store in an appropriate place. Try it out sometime. If you're, because of your age, make sure you check with your parents' permission and go ahead and scan one in an appropriate store, and you'll get some information. At this point, you're going to go through the rest of this on your own. Make sure you fill out this chart completely. It's already shared with me, so if I access this one right now, I'd see that these 2 steps were done. Make sure you're getting the opportunity to learn a lot. I know it's been a crazy school year, but these are those opportunities to be more than ready. If you have fallen behind on keeping up with these, reach out to our team, and we will be more than happy to help get you going. We'll expect to, once the next adjustment to the schedule happens, that we will probably have these more frequently as part of our content. Well, enjoy the rest of this activity. I look forward to seeing your QR codes and what you create. Have a minute, Gishagad. Minwa, Bama P.